A couple hundred years ago, my family arrived in America on the Mayflower. They were one of the first settlers in our country. Now for a special presentation. Trace my family all the way back to 1465 in Bedfordshire, England, where my oldest ancestor, Henry Tilly, was born. As I have said before, some of my oldest ancestors, Henry Tilly, right, born in Bedfordshire, England in 1465, and also my, second oldest ancestor that we can trace is James Gorham, born in Beanfield, Northamptonshire, England in 1550, and my third oldest that we can trace is Henry Howland, born in Fen Station, Huntingdonshire, England, around 1574, and the latest oldest person that we could find is Henry Madison, born in Denmark in October 1646. I have a very diverse family, so before my ancestors came to the U.S., they lived in England, Denmark, the Netherlands, Canada, Bavaria, which is a German state, and Russia also. And this is a long time ago. Before my family came to the U.S., in their home countries, they faced a lot of religious persecution, and there were hardships like inclement weather and famines, and life was just pretty rough on them before they came to the U.S. My family was also very diverse in occupations. Some people were landowners, some were tradesmen, some were servants, some worked in the government, some worked in the military, some worked with banking. A lot were artists and writers and scientists, so a few of my ancestors made historic impacts on the world. There are so many historic events that happened during the time that we can trace my family. I could not even list them all. Everything from war to natural disasters to social movements to politics and revolutions and inventions. From the 100 Years' War, the Wars of the Roses from 1455 to 1485, to social media, social networking, all of it. This is the Howland family crest. I'm going to start in the 1700s and try and list as much as I can. So here we go. In 1775 to 1783, there was the Revolutionary War, and then the U.S. Constitution signing in 1789. The French Revolution in 1789 to 1802. The War of 1812 between U.S. and Britain and France. The Civil War, slavery was abolished in 1865. World War I from 1914 to 1918. Military draft was created. Women's suffrage movement in U.S. and ultimate the right of women to vote and hold elected office in 1920 in the 19th Amendment on the U.S. Constitution. I'm just going to stop here at World War II in 1939 to 1945. My family has many famous relatives. So the U.S. Presidents Franklin D. Roosevelt, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush. There was also a few poets, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, and Florence Earle Coates. My first family members to come to the U.S. were John Howland, who was born in Fenston, Huntingdonshire, England, in 1599, and Elizabeth Tully, born in Henlow, England. During the voyage on the Mayflower, John Howland got thrown overboard. It's a miracle that he survived. But when he got to America, he married Elizabeth Tully and then had 10 children. So, as you already know, my family came to America on the Mayflower on a voyage of about 3 months and faced sickness aboard the ship, which was very crowded, and many people died. The first member of my family to come to California was William Roberts Eckhart Jr. in about 1879 to San Francisco. He was originally from Ross, Ohio. My first relative ever to live in Menlo Park was my great-great-great-grandfather William Roberts Eckhart, who lived on 1445 Bryant Street in Palo Alto, and my great-great-uncle lived at 1125 Ramona Street, Palo Alto. During the 1906 earthquake, my great-grandparents moved from Palo Alto to Menlo Park in 1969. They are now deceased, Eleanor and Joy Madison. My great-great-grandfather, Nelson Andrew Eckhart, who is a mechanical and electrical engineer, lived in Groveland, Yosemite, when he was overseeing the building of the Hetch-Hetchy Dam, which is where we get all of our local water supply. So every single time you drink water, it's coming from the Hetch-Hetchy Dam.